Something went wrong every time I try to announce we're live. Oh, this music is super loud.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Not anymore. What's going on, Random King?
What's up?
Let's go.
We're looking at House of Dragons, which is not sold out yet. Which honestly really is not surprising.
Yeah. I think,
That's
yeah.
the same
Did they at
pack
least
supply.
announce what the... Did they announce all the redeemables, I imagine, at this point, right?
Yeah, there's no Freddy. It's,
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was curious about. I wonder if there's going to be a Freddy this
I
time.
feel like we talked about this last week. Maybe we didn't, but I feel like it's 100% Game of Thrones does not allow like them to fuck with their licensing. Because like it's only Game of Thrones that doesn't have the Freddy set bonus, so it must be Game of Thrones. Like we don't want fucking Jon Snow as Freddy. Like we don't want Freddy as a part of our shit. That's the only reason that would make sense to me. But
yeah, I feel like Random King. I feel like you did it. I feel like you made it first. You were the first to chat.
Part of the licensing deal, though, is just like
that makes sense. Why they wouldn't do it Freddy then?
The only other one, I guess, was Bob's Big Boys. The only one that hasn't had a Freddy. The fact that both Game of Thrones don't kind of makes me think it's Game of Thrones ain't into it.
Yeah.
Where's the redeemables? That's some Sonic ass music playing.
Yeah, it's totally Sonic.
I like this guy the best. Viserys. Targaryen.
He was. Who the fuck was he? Oh, this isn't Game of Thrones. This is fucking House of Dragon.
Yeah, but I like how he has a red eye. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, KY, I agree, dude. Like a Freddy with a dragon like skin would definitely.
I also like how he has the gold over his like fake face.
That's pretty cool. I haven't seen House of Dragons enough to have been introduced to this character.
I haven't seen any of House of Dragons.
3 episodes or something. It was alright. I kind of fell off because I was just kind of like, I don't know. It's not hooking me like the first season of Game of Thrones. Like I was hooked after the first episode when the kid got pushed out of the window.
Why do they all have one eye? Is like being one eye part of being a Targaryen?
Yeah.
We got 2 one-eyed characters. I like the guy missing an eye though. That's real gnarly.
Yeah.
This guy sort of just looks like discount Jon Snow.
Yeah. I could do that. There's that one with the blue eye.
I like this NFT a lot.
Okay. I remember him. I do remember this like he fights like the crab dude or whatever, like or the guy who like feeds his enemies to the crabs. This is like the environment he's standing in is like that beach. So I do remember that from the first.
I like the animation on this one.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I like the NFT set, to be honest. I'll probably wait until
the NFTs have gotten so much cooler sets. It's crazy. Like I remember my first set of like legendaries like from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set, and they're all just kind of like not doing anything, just kind of like bobbing. And now there's like this whole little like they're doing a whole little scene. My favorite
looks like it's like whipped cream with strawberries in it.
Yeah, it does. She looks like the top of a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
No, I don't
She's really confused. Is she like? Does she not know what's going on in the show? She's like,
she didn't read this.
That's not a very cool animation though, compared to the other ones.
I'm not a fan of that one as much. Jon Snow's also just kind of disappointed that he's not real Jon Snow.
I don't think this guy's even a Targaryen.
No, the Targaryens all have like crazy blonde hair, don't they? Like,
wasn't Jon Snow part Targaryen though, and he had black hair?
Was he?
I thought that was the whole thing.
Like he was part Stark. He was the Stark bastard. He was Ned Stark's
Okay,
bastard.
so he wasn't a Targaryen bastard.
Yeah,
He was
no,
just
he wasn't.
dating whatever her face.
He was like, I forget who his mom was, but maybe she was a Targaryen. Who knows?
I'm gonna get crucified by Game of Thrones fans for not knowing
I
the
think it
lore.
was like some kind of reveal that I'm now forgetting from Game of Thrones, but definitely throughout the whole series, Jon Snow was Ned Stark's bastard. Although I don't think Ned Stark was actually his dad. I think it was like he adopted him and said that it was his bastard to protect him because he had some other type of like. I think it was Stan Baratheon's kid or something, like the guy who was king at the beginning of the series.
Let me just Google this. Who is Jon Snow's parents?
Yeah, yeah. Let's correct me here.
George Snow. What? Not that Jon Snow.
No, come on. There's not another Snow. All right, I guess Snow is just the last name for the bastards in that series.
I mean, Jon Snow is the name of like a real life person who's.
Oh, yeah.
Jon Snow's like a sportscaster or
I
something.
bet you he's probably pissed off about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, here we go. Jon Snow journalist. This guy. For Channel 4 News, he is the best known as the longest running presenter of Channel 4 News. Sucks for that guy. He's now just way replaced by.
What up, Toon?
All right.
Thanks for the sub. 16 months. Hot damn.
We're in the Game of Thrones wiki. This is where you get.
Yeah,
He's
this
the
is
son
where
of-
we'll see lineage.
Yeah, here he is, the son of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen. I was right.
So he is a Targaryen.
No, he is
Okay.
Targaryen. And he doesn't have white hair. Call it.
So he's like half brother with like the fucking, what is it, Mother of Dragons, right? Or something like that, maybe.
Only if her is Rhaegar Targaryen also related to her.
Inadequate math, dude. We got our finger on the pulse, dude. We know what the people are looking up. We're trying to figure out the lineage right now of the Snow.
Okay,
The
so he had
That's
2 children, Rhaenys and Aegon. He also fathered Jon Snow, so his child was not Daenerys. So they're not like they're probably cousins or whatever, but they're not directly related, if that makes sense. Like they don't share a parent. It wasn't the same situation that was going on with the Lannisters where they were just incestual. All right, now that we have that sorted, we can go back to judging these NFTs. I bought 12 epics from today's set, hoping they'll go up.
nice. I think in general, Toon, I think that's like a strategy that relatively has worked in the past for Funko drops. We're buying like epics and high rarity NFTs on drop day at like floor prices.
People going for the grails or dumping any duplicates and stuff.
Yeah, and then like as the set goes on, like people who want to try to finish their set bonus will like drive the price of those up. I mean you've done that in the past too, so you're familiar.
I think that's what Pop and Stock. I don't know. Pop and Stock though says you should sell all of your epics and then buy the set bonuses afterwards. So he's not a fan of.
Yeah, just buy the coin, not like try to.
But I do
buy
think
the
he might flip the epics as well. Like I think he buys the epics early, then sells them, then uses that wax to buy the redeemable tokens. But yeah, I don't know. Pop and Stock is definitely much more of an expert at playing the Funko market than me. I don't play the market at all. I just buy them to collect. I don't sell them, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Where the
I
best
buy
ones
them
are.
when the redeems come out, and then I just hold them forever. There's not
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
how
of.
where I am too. So like,
Yeah,
I don't know when to exit Funko because I don't. So I'm not giving advice on that.
right. I just never exit my Funkos. I just pretty much all those Funkos I have in my wallet. I plan to keep those forever.
What
Those
else
are
we
my-
got going? We got Honey was hacked. Honey was
Honey was
hacked and
hacked this week.
recovered. In between our last stream, we didn't have time to
By
talk
the
about it.
time- Exactly. Since the last time we looked at our liquidity pool in Honey Wax till now, it's been hacked and restored. So we won't even notice that. Like when we poke in on that later. I gotta say though, take notes. Anybody who's been exploited or hacked, holy shit, Ben handled that really well and so quickly.
Ultraman's also happening in 12 hours. That's kind of a weird time. Like the drop is at like, I guess it's not for people in America. That makes like sense. But the drop is at 2 a.m. our time or 3 a.m. But also it's a Japanese series, so it's time for. I'm sure that drop is time for Japanese people. Not.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm kind of just excited to see how this works. Also, like built into the advertisement is create a free wax wallet. So like, this is set up to onboard new users more so than cater to the current audience on Wax, but that's also perfect because we want more users on Wax. We want more collectors, especially us as people who run a collectible brand that is also now dabbling in VIRL. People buying collectibles attached to VIRL is the audience we are looking for on Wax. So for us as Neon Space, this is good for us if this does well. So more so than like me being a fan of Ultraman or me wanting to buy and flip this, like really praying it sells out so I can flip it. I wanted to sell out just because it shows there's demand for this sort of product on Wax. And also it could show that there's an entire new customer base looking for this product on Wax. But I don't really have like a personal investment. Like I'm not going to buy this drop. I don't want the renewals. So I don't really care.
The redeemables is definitely what the drop's about because the NFTs I'm not super excited about. They don't look great not like something.
They just look the same.
I'm also so familiar with the Ultraman like property, so I'm less excited.
I do like the redeemables though. I also like how they have the little buildings.
Redeemables cool as hell. Yeah. Oh, Jeff has a discount code and he doesn't plan to use it. So if you guys play nice with Jeff, he might hook you up.
I think you can still sign up for the discount code right here. Enter to win a 10% discount code, unless it already happened. But the button's still there.
Because he already has one, and he might be open to. I'm just putting that part in his mouth. Okay, there it is from Jeff. He would give it to you if you want it. So
Ultraman Dyna, Ultraman Gaia. Are these all the same characters from like different series? I think it is. Like I think this is all Ultraman. It's just like there's been like 30 different spin-offs from Ultraman, so these are all just different versions of Ultraman.
Okay, I feel like I've seen some people cosplay as Ultraman now that I see that character in all these different costumes.
I mean, we literally looked this up when it was announced, but Ultraman is wildly popular. It's not like
it's been wildly popular since like the 70s.
It came out in 1967. Wait, no, that's not right. That was the first sequel came out in 1967. The first show came out in 1966. So it's been around since 1966. And the most recent one was in 2022 and 2023. So like it never, from 1967 to 2023, they have not stopped releasing Ultraman stuff. It is also the Guinness Book of World Records. It has the most spin-offs of any series. So that's just like, that says right here. It says, as of 2013, Subayara Productions accepts 36 Ultraman as official. This figure does not account for Thai-produced Ultraman, which would bring it up to 38 if you count that. In 2013, the Ultra series was cited in the Guinness Book of World Records as the record holder for the most spin-off shows. The Ultraman brand generated $7.4 billion in merchandising revenue from 1966 to 1987, equivalent to more than $18 billion adjusted for inflation. Ultraman was the world's third top-selling licensed character in the 1980s.
Damn. I'm excited to see how that goes. That's kind of massive.
Yeah, so it's like this drop isn't necessarily for us in our communities, but also like it could be good for Wax. That's why I'm excited.
I'm interested though, is the target audience for that? It seems like a lot of people, who watch that would be quite old today. I wonder if they are interested in these types of collectibles. Maybe.
They came out with one in 2023. They never stopped releasing it. That's being like only old people like Star Wars. There's new ones. Like
I guess that's true. Yeah. Okay.
Only old people like James Bond. It's like like Daniel Craig is the new James Bond. There's always a new one.
All right. Fair enough. You did get me on that.
Unless the new series are directed only at adults, but I assume children are watching like the new Ultraman. I don't know. I'm not Japanese, but That's
Yeah.
what Team just said. Is there's also a modern animated series on Netflix. So like it's on Netflix.
Oh shit. Okay, so I might watch that then if it's on Netflix.
I'm not like super interested in it, to be honest. Like all this being said, like I'm not interested in Ultraman, nor am I interested in watching it. I just think it's cool for Wax to have a new property that's this big. So we even looked up, like it just looks like it looks like Power Rangers, like when they fight.
Yeah.
Looks like
It
this.
does look like Power Rangers.
This is also the one from the 60s though, so this is like super old. But it's just dudes like dressed up in dinosaur suits.
Yeah.
Is this, I can't tell if this is working. Maybe you can see this. It's definitely got Power Ranger vibes though.
This, I don't know. I'm like not uninterested in this. This looks fucking hilarious.
Let's see. So this is Ultraman final season official trailer. This is from Netflix Anime 3 weeks ago. This just came out. You know what? Let's give it some real flowers. Let's turn off the music and turn on the sound.
Oh, you know what? I think I worked on a fucking VR version of this. How old is this?
今のお前は危険すぎる。新次郎君、君は何のためにウルトラマンになった？君にとってウルトラマンとは何だ？教えてくれ。本当の君を。俺は。俺は。
You know what? I'm back in. This looks pretty sick.
Yeah, this looks dope, dude. The look of this too, just like the art style.
Yeah,
is
like
fucking
shaded
awesome.
stuff is like, yeah, some dude
Yeah.
dressed up in a fucking dinosaur costume. I'm not watching that, but this actually looks kind of cool.
はい、隼人です。無事なのね。あなたなら大丈夫。
さすがかつての光の巨人。何者だ？誰だ？
あなたたちは名乗りもせず相手に質問する決まりでもあるわけ？
どういうことだ？さらなる覚醒。
That looked fucking dope. Okay, like I'm back in. I might scoop some of these NFTs now.
You know, I would say this is a video game I'd play. Like, I don't think I'd watch this TV show, but if that was a video game, like Batman style video game that you're playing, like Arkham style, that looks like it'd be a sick game.
Yeah, that's true. Also, just that, like the look of that looked fucking cool. Like I like that anime style.
Look kind of like
It's funny.
like Borderlands, cell shaded.
Oh yeah, I hate reading subtitles too. I kind of agree with you, Toon. I would watch the dub. I'm like the anime. I'll watch animes when they're dubbed over watching them. Like, I don't know, the voices in like Japanese animes are just it's just funny. Like it kind of keeps me from like getting into like the seriousness of some of those scenes, because it's always like really deep, like oh kind of voices, and then paired with like really high pitched, like peppy kind of characters.
I was watching I believe it's Korean. It's called like Strongest 100, but it's like trying to find out who the strongest 100 people in Korea are. But I watched the dub version, and because there's 100 people, I feel like they had to just like they found voice actors that were like would have never been hired for other shows because they needed 100 of them. So like some of the voices were just like fucking crazy. It was just like there's no way this person sounds like this. It's like you definitely just hired some like weird like person that does like a wizard voice normally, and that's the only actor left. So you just have that guy doing the voice, like.
Yeah, Burst is collecting dick pic screenshots, by the way. So
Yeah, I can drop Beast Kingdom. Beast.
I remember I used to watch like Dragon Ball Z in English, and then like when I first saw it in Japanese and I heard Goku's voice, I was like, it threw me off pretty good. And I was just like, damn, dude, Goku sounds like way higher pitch and weirder than I thought. But I mean, obviously, I was biased by seeing it in English first.
It is interesting. They're not advertising anywhere on their own website. At least not the US one. This Ratatouille is pretty sick.
The Ratatouille is great. I also like the chicken dude from Toy Story too. That was fucking cool.
I feel like I can't look at this stuff.
Really cool, actually.
Becoming a collector of this stuff, and I don't have the room or the money for this. It's like, this is too cool. I want this, and I don't want to want this.
Like, oh man, this just takes me back to like fucking just working at a studio, man. Like everybody has shit like this on their desk. It's so fun to just walk around the like office and see like what people have on their desk.
Like pretty funny. These mini Batmans, like how big his eyes are.
Yeah, one of the supervisors on Pacific Rim had like this huge articulated Batman and this complimentary Joker, and he would just pose them in fighting positions, like different positions every day. So I'd always walk by his desk and see like what they were doing on it. Like it was cool.
They also have these more realistic looking ones because they do kind of like the big head Funko cartoony look, but then they also do guys like this, like Medieval Knight Spider-Man that just looks like crazy.
Yeah. I think the target audience is definitely in Asia. That's also why the drop is happening like 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You know,
and these are expensive too. Like this is $170 or $161 new. Like that's not like the aftermarket price.
That seems about right. Like the stuff I've seen on people's desks at these like people who collect these things, they go up into like the $800-900 range for like really.
I don't understand. $16,000
articulated things. Yeah.
How is this $16,000? Oh, it's a one of one life-size statue of Thor. God damn.
It's probably huge.
It's like this is the size of a Funko. It costs $16,000. Like this shit's taller than you.
Yeah. Oh, the ones I was talking about on the guy's desk, they were like probably like 3 feet tall. Like they were huge and really like insanely detailed, like cloth and like metal pieces and stuff, and then like completely articulated. Like you could move the arms and they would stay in those positions. Like they were really high end. I don't know if you'd call them toys.
Yeah, like there's some sick. Like, this is super cool too. I don't even like Marvel stuff, but like Doctor Strange fighting this like.
Oh, that's dope. That's from that's the guy he fights in that movie, the most recent one, the Multiverse of Madness in the beginning.
It's just cool. I also like this like shark guy. Looks pretty sick.
Oh yeah, he's from the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at it, and it looks like their prices are kind of similar to like what people are paying for Funkos on Waxes, and like they're $30 ones. Like if you see something that's $30, which I'm on the wrong type right now, but like if you looked at the other page, they like like this one like $30. The $30 ones all have like a couple thousand mint cap, and then the ones that have like a 999 or 1,000 mint cap are closer to like $150 to $300, which is closer to a Funko Grail. So they do kind of like just generally seem to price their stuff like, yeah, if you're getting a $30 one, it's going to have like 2,000 to 3,000, and if you're getting like anything over $150, there's only going to be less than 1,000. So that does sort of seem to be like, I don't know, semi-consistent pricing. I'm also new to the collector space, so I'm just trying to like figure out. Like, like when I saw something like $300 for a toy, I was like, that seems excessive. Like, but I guess like that's what people are willing to pay for Funko Grails. That's what people are willing to pay for these.
Yeah. I feel like I'd rather have like an articulated Iron Man or something than a Funko version of it, personally. Like some of these look I like the hyper realistic look of some of these more than the like stylized look of the Funkos.
I will say Beast Kingdom has like licensing up the ying. They got friggin' DC, Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Warner Brothers, Universal, and Star Wars. I doubt that's the properties they're going to be bringing to Wax, but let's see if I can find the Beast Kingdom Oceanic one too, because they're not a US based company, I don't think. Or maybe they are, I don't know. Because Jeff posted, there's like an Oceanic link, right? Let me see if I can find that. Posted the link above.
I'm not sure if I know that one.
Beast Kingdom C is what it is.
6-bit just posted it again in the chat here. Too bad I can't click on it, but it says Beast Kingdom
Is it that? It is.
Kingdom Sea.
It seems like the same website, if I'm being honest. Pretty much. I just wanted to check this out to see if they were advertising the sale on Wax. But they're advertising all the same stuff from what I can tell. So why does this not work?
Nice. Burst is getting froggy with the art tokens. I'm just dumping mine every fucking couple hours.
League of Legends, that's kind of cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Soap Studio.
Did you ever play League of Legends?
No. I never got into Dota either.
That's like the OG one, isn't it? Like for that kind of format, that game style.
Yeah, it was invented. Dota was invented as a Warcraft 3 mod, and League of Legends is a standalone game built off of that Warcraft 3 mod. Well, also Dota released their own standalone game as well, but it used to just be Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne.
Yeah.
Custom game.
Oh, Autumn's Toys, you're right. I'm excited to get my Nova tokens soon. It's almost time. Novo tokens. I can claim them from playing. I didn't scoop any of the drop, but I am excited to get some just from having played Novo Pangea for a while.
Should we go over like the honey hack and stuff?
Yeah, let's look at that. I think that was a fucking interesting, big kind of like drama this week. Pretty much right after we went off stream. Hold on, let me
Yeah, it was like immediately after we finished streaming. I looked in the chat and I was like, "Oh, honey just got hacked or exploited." I don't know if you can really consider that. What's the difference between a hack and an exploit? Can those words be used interchangeably, or is there a difference?
Yeah, I feel like you use an exploit to hack a contract, so it's kind of interchangeable. I'd say, like hacking is looking for exploits. But let me toggle over to some. Let's see what's going down here.
He says Alcor tells him it has server maintenance right now.
Yeah, Alcor wasn't working. So if you want to swap, you can go to Wax on Edge, and you can still use the swaps on Alcor there.
There's also been issues with the new web cloud wallet has issues with the sign-in, so multiple websites have gone back. Like they made it, like Alcor made it so you had to sign in with the new wallet, which people are like, "Is this a scam? Why is it popping up a different sign-in portal?" Which, like unanimously, people are saying like I don't know. The way they did this is really like not great for like people assume they're just getting scammed because it pops up with a different website, different wallet name. Like, so if you like didn't read the Medium article, you're like, okay, now I'm clicking to sign into something I've been signed in over and over and over again. It's popping up with something I've never seen before or never heard of, which in the crypto space you just assume is a scam. So like people are assuming the new wallet is a scam, but that aside, it's not working correctly. So when people are trying to log in, it just like loads forever and doesn't work. So both Nefty Blocks and Alcor changed to the new one, and then we're like, this shit is broken, and our customers are complaining we're reverting back, which is even more confusing because now like they're like actively not using the thing they're supposed to be adapting to. So like I don't know, it's a fucking bit of a cluster, if I'm being honest.
They definitely should test it better than that. But yeah, here I want to point out, because I was having the same problem earlier on Alcor. I was trying to like do some trading, and I kept getting a failed to fetch error. Like nothing was working for me on Alcor, and if I was swapping, I was also getting like failed to fetch, or it wouldn't let me work. So I just go over to Wax on Edge, and then you can see it's routing through the same Alcor contract, but you can do it from this front end. So you just click swap, and it's free as long as it's only using like a direct path. Like here, I would still be able to trade my chimp tokens on Alcor, but from this website interface. And that's just Wax on Edge. And then I like that you can star, like you can save little pools. Like here's Wax Neon. Let's see. I wonder where Wax Neon has the best deal right now. If I did, looks like it's gonna be Alcor is a better deal than DeFi Box if you're doing a super low amount. So that's kind of cool, and it would still be free because it's only doing a single pool. But yeah, let's look at the what happened this week. So like right after we ended stream on I think Saturday, the honey smart contract, the rewards contract got exploited, and we can see what happened to the price here. It's kind of funny. Boom, somebody came in and took, the price of honey was at around like 1.9 wax per unit. Somebody exploited the smart contract in a way that they were able to basically claim rewards that they hadn't earned until they owned a shit ton, and then they used all their honey token to buy out all the wax liquidity from the wax markets, and
It
also
also
buy out the
probably helped
spot.
if we had like a coder or something to explain it, but the hack had to do with like if you can input a negative number where there should be a positive number, it changes it to a positive number. So like something like if you're staking -3, like if you're staking -3 honey, you actually get the rewards for 3 honey. So people are able to stake like negative infinity and just drain the pool or something. But also like you can't do that through the interface. That has to be done like through the smart contracts and stuff. So like it wasn't really possible to do through NFT Hive. It had to be done through like smart contracts and stuff. But I'm also not smart enough to really explain that. But
Yeah, it was
that's is the
basically it
issue.
was an
Or what-
exploit like that existed in the smart contract, and the smart contract is live and deployed on the public blockchain. So somebody interacted with the smart contract in a non like traditional way that like a normal user would interact with it to exploit it, and that's what makes the exploit the hack. So
The other thing though is like as 6-bit glitch is saying, he's saying it's like it's about difference between signed and unsigned data types. There's poor schoolboy error, but I will say the Nefty contract had the exact same error in it. So it's not like NFT Hive is the only people using that code. I don't even know if they wrote the code. It could be like community sourced code that multiple Wax users are using. So like I don't know if it's necessarily like I'm also not good enough at coding to know like if this was just negligence or what it was. So like I can't really speak from the coding end, but I can say that like after this, people found out that Nefty also had the same exact error in their code. So like this is something that happened to multiple Wax projects and not just to NFT Hive. It's like an error in code that people were sharing.
exactly what I heard as well. And the Nefty it wasn't exploited, it was just made aware. Like they were made aware of it and they patched it before it was able to be exploited. Which that's good. Now let's see. I still have some honey in this wallet. I should have like I guess the other tokens are now like they won't show up here anymore. But I had like 3,000 honey, 30,000 of like or 80,000 in the liquidity pool. That old contract basically became locked. Those tokens are still locked as far as I'm aware. You can't like remove them. I'm not sure if they plan to be unlocked in the future or not. Would be nice because then I could unwind my liquidity and at least recover like the 4 wax that was left. But the recovery process, because you can see here, so basically the old honey contract is abandoned at this point, possibly locked forever. I'm not sure about if there's a plan to unlock it or not. But there was a new honey contract deployed. The total cap for honey token was reduced pretty significantly, I think from 1 billion to 10 million or something. I think possibly. We can actually check the honey token contract to see what the new cap is by going. Let's just do that. So EOS Authority is a let's go to this. EOS Authority is a block explorer that it's going to work better than blocks because blocks will show you token caps as infinite if the cap is higher than a certain threshold, whereas EOS Authority doesn't have that issue. It'll show you token caps even if they're in the trillions. Let's see. Yield Farming is a wallet that I own that has some of these tokens. So this is a quick way to find the token contract. Is just look up your own wallet if you have a token that you want to know what the limit is, and then find the token and just click on the contract. So I'm gonna go Control Find, and I want to see honey. Let's see this. And then here it still sees that I have the abandoned token contract, so we can actually compare the two. So this is the old one and this is the new one. So if we go to the new one, you can see the new honey supply is capped now at 10 million. We were talking about this in Discord actually right before we went live too, that this cap is actually a mutable attribute of the token contract, meaning that it can be changed by the owner of the token contract who deployed this token. So even though it says it's 10 million, as long as the key is still associated with this token contract, where the creator of the contract still has ability to amend it, this could still change, but it's not intended to be changing according to the person who owns that key. And part of the reason why we used honey as a token that we participated in yield farming with our 100 wax strategy is because the honey token is issued by a member of the community who is trustworthy in that sense. Because if we do have to trust people with their with their private keys to these token contracts, then we should make sure the tokens we invest in are that those keys are maintained by people who deserve that trust. And that's kind of why we went with honey, because it was issued by NFT Hive, who's also a block producer, has been around the wax space for years, and is well established within the community, versus jumping into some high yield pool of a new token that was just created by a brand new wallet that's unknown and still has access to all those keys. Marcy, chill out. And because the reality of that is, because the owner of this contract could just take, even with this 10 million, only 1 million are currently minted. And of the 1 million, most of them are still in the NFT Hive wallet, which is also, it also means somebody could mint a bunch of these and then steal all the liquidity if they own this contract, like what the exploit allowed the hacker to do. So this is the new honey contract. Let's look at the old one. So the old one used to be 1 billion max cap. It's now all been minted, and you can see like most of it still in the vault. But at this point, I guess the exploiters already dumped it all. But it was, the reason that somebody saw it was like, hey, how come like somebody who isn't NFT Hive has the majority share of this token, was basically how the exploit was initially discovered. But yeah, you can always check these token contracts, see who's holding them and what like I'm the 5th biggest holder right now of honey token apparently. Which that was I got these tokens back too from Ben for having limit orders that I had set on Alcor all the way down during the exploit, when all the like tokens were dumped and the liquidity was stolen. Those orders all filled, and I ended up with like 4,000 or whatever I had in my wallet a second ago. Those honey, they all came from spot market on Alcor from having open limit orders. I reached out to Ben and made a ticket and let him know that like, hey, I was affected by this exploit in this way, and he restored. He gave me back 185 honey, which the amount of wax I was stolen, from those orders was only about 180 wax. So he actually like reimbursed me more than what my loss was. I mean, should I dump them right now? I'm not going to dump them though, because again, this hack and exploit has more served to kind of like bolster my confidence in honey token rather than like diminish it. And the result of the reissue of the contract here, where we've cut the max supply so dramatically, also ripples through moving forward. Earning honey tokens by spending wax on the NFT Hive is reduced now. So the emission of the rewards coming out are lower than they were when I already was happy with the honey token. And now that they've re kind of like vamped this in the wake of this kind of exploit, that bodes well for the longer term price of honey. I still would say it's worth a fair market for me on honey is still like 1.4, 1.5 wax at the moment, because it is it's got the utility as far as if we go to meal and staked, 273% APR just for yield farming. So there is that option. And then also, obviously, the utility that honey token has is staking for platform rewards, which I guess, I do have some honey in my wallet. So let me just do that as well to show you how that works. If I just go to NFT Hive, I can use, up here top right, log in with my wallet. Once I'm logged in, I can click here and go to the wallet tab, and here it'll show you my honey balance, and you can stake from here. So I'm gonna let's stake like 150 honey, and now that those are staked, I will earn from them. I'll earn from them a cut of every single drop that's sold on NFT Hive. And since NFT Hive does facilitate drops in other tokens than Wax, the yield from the stake will be denominated in all of those tokens respectively. So depending on how many honey tokens you have and you stake to the distribution contract here, you get your cut of all of the drops that happen through NFT Hive. That is one of the utilities. The other utility is here as well. If we go to honey info, you can see kind of an overview of the current stats, but then you can also see that you can use honey to purchase RAM, which, let's see, where is that? Here, can be used to buy a CPU. And the way you do that is, let's see, trade, where is that? Trying to remember how to use it here. There's like another section for, it used to be like linked in here, I think. I gotta find it now. I feel like, let's see. Do you remember how to do that, Lewis? How to like use the honey to buy the RAM? Let's see. Stake. Oh, I think Lewis might be stepped away. Let's see. Either way, I think, if I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Derp. It's just right in fucking
I was muted, but I meant to say, no, I've never done that. I don't remember, but also Pop and Stock just said that 5,800 of the House of Dragon premium packs will be destroyed by drop. The drop just closed. It did not sell out, so they're destroying the remaining of the premium packs.
But oh, that's nice. I like that they destroy them.
The only shitty thing is that like all those low mints sometimes get locked into smart contracts.
Yeah, that's true. So
like
here you can
buy and then destroy the packs and don't rip the cards out of the packs, and you have a bunch of mints that just get stuck. But what are you gonna do?
Let's see. So here you can see this is the other utility for honey. You can see there's an available 33,700 wax that I could rent from the contract here to add to my own wallet CPU stake. So you can see that I can choose what wallet I want to use. Like, let's say, I could do like DNA. So if I wanted to give DNA a bunch of RAM, I could say for one honey, I could buy him 640 wax stake for the next day, or I could do it for a week. And that same one honey buys me 91 wax stake. So if you're trying to, for example, maybe if you're a project owner, you want to do like a minting event, or you're doing an airdrop, or you're doing some type of transaction thing that's going to require more CPU than you have on hand, and you don't want to purchase wax, or it's not in your budget, you can then use, like for one day, you can use like 10 honey to get 6,000 wax staked, cover your expense for that day. And again, 10 honey is what, like 20 wax at the moment. So it's a relatively usable service. And then again, they have like pre-packaged deals too, where you can get like, for 3 days, for 6 days. And I think you can even go up to like a month or something. No, 10 days, I think is the max. So you can rent CPU with your honey. This is pretty cool, I think. I mean, there's also like, if somebody's like complaining that they're in, CPU hell and they're stuck for a second, you want to help them, but you don't want to like delegate part of your wallet stake to some stranger's wallet. Instead of doing that, maybe just, buy them, like, I guess you have to go for a full, if it's for one day, could you do like half of a honey? No, it looks like you have to go in single units, but you could buy them like CPU for like a week without actually having to like associate your wallet with their stake. But again, you can like, type anything you want here. It's kind of a cool utility. I like this. As far as like being a collection owner, I've always run into areas where I've needed more stake for a short period of time. And this is like a very reasonable way to get that stake, especially if I can just, earn these tokens at a rate of 200% APR and then use this yield to basically boost all my, like, I mean, from just this stake, I'm getting like 10 honey a day. So if I added that stake to my own CPU, like every day, I would be able to boost my CPU by 6,000 wax, you know. And then if I'm doing competitive transactions that require bigger stakes to have more weight and push through to the front of the line effectively, because the way that during high volume transaction times on wax, if two transactions submit the same, like if we're both trying to buy the same NFT at the very same time and our transactions both hit the like blockchain literally at the same time, it's the transaction with the bigger CPU stake that takes priority. So you know, even if you are just getting real sweaty with drops for like a day, dropping an extra 10 honey on this to like
I basically have
drop-
zero interest in renting CPU. I think it's a waste of wax. But
that's the other side of it.
there's a ton of people on the network. There's probably like 15 different wax CPU renting services. So even though I don't use it, it is something that people are spending wax on every day on wax. And if honey drops to the price where it's cheaper to buy honey than it is to use any other CPU service, then it becomes smarter for people to buy that. And people that are, I don't know, people are not dumb. They're going to buy whatever's cheapest. So like, to me, it's just a built-in utility that backs up the value of it, because again, like, this is a service that people are using on wax. I don't use it. I think it's a waste of wax. I'd rather just, you know, stake wax to myself and not delete it. But like, other
That's the
people do it that way, people with less wax. So that will kind of, that's like a built-in, that plus the drops is built-in utility for honey, which as far as like, it's backed by value, which like not every token has a built-in use case that has value, where it's like people will pay wax to rent CPU and have been for years, the entire time I've been on wax, and people compete with that market. So like having that just built into a token is not a bad like utility.
I agree. It's a great burn case for the honey token because they're being issued out, you know, for rewards and through liquidity pools. So they do having that like burn economy as well. Also, you can see here they have a price kind of like relative to wax, where you can just not use honey and still rent CPU from NFT Hive, no problem, and pay in wax. But if you're paying in honey, you're getting double the CPU. So you can see one wax is giving me 320 wax stake for a day, while one honey does 640. So that's another kind of like metric to add to like the fair market value if you want to look for kind of like that kind of thing. But yeah, that's kind of like what NFT Hive was up to this week. I think they had a scrambly week, but I gotta say I'm thoroughly impressed with the course of action that was taken to restore the value that was stolen from the community of supporters of the honey token. There's no doubt in my mind, based on my exposure to this hack, that anybody who suffered a loss was made whole again. And the fact that that happened within a week, that's
way less than a week.
So yeah,
It's
within the same week,
happens.
literally, we pop in on Tuesdays to check on our DeFi investment here. So I'm gonna actually pop into our DeFi wallet, and since last Tuesday, we had a position in honey and wax on this DeFi wallet. And last time we checked in, you know, things were going fine. Now we're gonna check in a week later. Things are still going great. You know, like I won't even have noticed this exploit happened. And if I'm a less active person in space, I might not even have to know.
Friday to Sunday is like 2 days. Like this exploit did not take a like to say like he did it in a week is like that's way overestimating. Like he did that shit in like 3 days.
Yeah, look at this. We still have all of our honey, just like we left last weekend. Like, that's great. I'm a big fan of this. I do like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just like very impressed with how it was handled by Ben. And obviously, like Lewis said, the exploit wasn't like a big, oh, Ben is an idiot at writing code. That same exploit existed in other codes that, you know, are also trusted and, you know, definitely are barriers to massive amounts of value. Like the Nifty token pool has a much deeper liquidity than the honey pool. So if honey were to be, or if Nifty would have been exploited in the same way, I have a hard time believing that they would be able to refund everybody as quickly, at least, considering their pool is worth like 2 million wax. Meaning that, you know, at least 1 million of that wax would be stolen in wax, and of course the counterpart would have been worth also 1 million wax. So their, you know, investors or their supporters would have been out an absurd amount that maybe isn't easy to reimburse. But yeah, that is kind of a good segue into looking at our DeFi wallet here. Maybe let's before we actually figure out what we want to do with this DeFi position, though, let's take a look at the crypto market and see what our sentiment is for the coming week. So I'm going to jump back over to TradingView here. I already have TradingView up, it looks like, with the weekly chart on Ethereum, because we usually look at Ethereum to get a sense of how the general market is doing as far as crypto altcoins that aren't Bitcoin. And then we look at Bitcoin kind of as like the general overall for all crypto. And then we look at the SPY as the kind of like over everything macro economy picture is kind of like my approach to chart reading. So looking at the Ethereum chart, because this is relevant mostly to us here in Wax, on the weekly, we're still very much in a bear trend here. We are closing a few weeks now above the strength line, the strength bands here. And let me also toggle between my custom indicator back to what we've been using, which is the B bands. I actually like the one I'm using better because it doesn't get quite as faked out. But you can see we've gone almost a couple months now above the middle Bollinger Band line. And since then, we are kind of like assuming that, you know, week closes above this Bollinger Band line, as well as, you know, closes above the middle strength bands here. That this is the custom indicator that Sid and I made. I just like this, but I'm gonna leave it open like that for now. But you can see us closing above here for multiple weeks is a very kind of sending kind of a bullish sentiment, meaning, you know, we may be getting close to flipping this downtrend into a bull run. But we are also very much oversold on the stochastic RSI here on the RSI. And then you can see the on balance volume has been falling, and we haven't really seen a higher high yet. We maybe see like a double top here where we're still flat, but definitely falling in on balance volume too. And, you know, as we've been up and flatlining up, we also, you know, claimed up and kind of flatlining there. So let's zoom a little bit closer. We're on the weekly, meaning each one of these candles is one full week. Now jumping back down to the daily. The daily is still kind of like in this uptrend, but we are closing now below the bands and are still, you know, we have room up or down on the OBV or on the RSI, but you can see while we've been in this flatline plateau, the on balance volume does seem to be trending down a little bit. Personally, I think we're looking at a sell-off coming in the coming week or so. Definitely in the next 2 weeks, I would say, possibly already starting this week in this asset. Part of that is also because the month is about to close, and the monthly close looks pretty shitty. We're definitely still a little bit on the on the like floor here on the RSI, and we can kind of like flatline for a while. But we're definitely, while we're down here, just falling in OBV. And when this month closes, generally speaking, and Sid and I were actually talking about this earlier today, we will see like a small bump followed by like the continuing of the trend. So my guess is that in the coming week, we maybe see that little bump, but overall, I'm expecting the markets to move down. Let's zoom out a bit at some of the markets that we actually trade more actively in. So
right back. I have to go bathroom.
Sure. I'm going to toggle over to Wax really quick. Wax, we were seeing, so before this whole run up too, we were seeing this kind of, let's pull this up a little bit. Let's see this OBV metric, because that's the thing I was noticing on Wax a lot, is that despite Wax being relatively like on the march down, the on balance volume had been pretty flat and had mostly been recovering, definitely making higher lows. See, when these lows come up, definitely higher than where we were when we dropped, despite the price being lower. So despite this not being an uptrend on the on balance volume, clearly it's kind of down-ish. Down for sure, but flat for this portion of it mostly. But during this flat portion, the price is dropping, from like, what is this, 20 cents almost down to like 4. So this is relatively bullish, almost like it's an accumulating indication. Let's zoom out a bit here too, and you can see similarly that the OBV had sold off quite aggressively during that initial kind of like drop from like 30 cents to like the first time we hit 8 cents, and then it's been recovering ever since. So you can see we've been making higher lows for sure, and definitely starting to make some higher highs too, all while let me close this down a bit, all while this price has been trending pretty much down. So that usually indicates kind of like an accumulation, and we were seeing that. Let's see if I can crop off this. We were seeing that type of there we go, climb and higher lows despite falling prices for a while. So we were last week we kind of said, like, despite the fact that I thought Ethereum is still kind of like looking pretty bearish and the markets are looking to sell off, Wax maybe isn't going to follow quite as closely, because Wax is already effectively sold off so hard, and seems to be accumulating as far as people buying back in at these prices more than they're selling, is more or less what it means when the unbalanced volume is climbing. So let's look at if we're seeing that same trend across other marketplaces, since right now this is what we're seeing on Qcoin. So I'm curious if Wax is also seeing a rise in unbalanced volume while this market's been slipping on the other markets where it trades. So Binance is another big one of those, and on Binance it's even more clear that the unbalanced volume is just climbing, much more clear actually. So again, this is kind of indicating money is flowing into Wax on Binance, even though the price is kind of selling off. Let's zoom out to the weekly and see if Wax is coming up. Lovely. Wax is coming up and flopping. We got a bull print on the weekly chart. That's usually very sticky. Like, these prints don't print, like bull and bear prints on weekly charts don't happen often in this indicator. But you can also see we're flatline oversold or overbought on the weekly as well. And then here again, huge on balance volume, like flowing back into the market, almost back, like at a higher level now than we see over here. And over here, the price is 50 cents a Wax. Right now we're looking at 8 cents. So very kind of like a divergence in what you're seeing. Definitely not what we're seeing on Ethereum and Bitcoin, where Bitcoin and Ethereum selling off along with on balance volume declining, more what we expect to see in a bear trend. Wax is kind of showing us mixed signals. Again, I don't think it means that Wax can't fall. I just think it's less likely for Wax to make new lower lows than we've already seen. So where Wax kind of fell to 4 cents, 4.5 or so, this maybe was the floor, at least short, like medium range term wise. So what we're looking for now is, Wax is still closing above the middle lines here, still in the bull market, still has RSI room up, climbing on balance volume. And before I get too sidetracked, let's look at some other markets for Wax. So we have looked at Binance. This is OKX. This is actually another pretty big marketplace. I just don't use it. Also climbing on balance volume while the market's price is dumping. And again, like, let's toggle really quick just to show that difference between this is, just kill all the indicators so you can just see. Let's see. I guess it's not in the way. But yeah, same with Bitcoin. Similar deal here. We are getting, both of these markets got a pretty big OBV pump during this initial like pump up. But you can see definitely nothing like the Wax markets. And then also, if we were to do the same thing we're doing here, and we go to like, Bitstamp, same falling on balance volume. We go to Coinbase, falling. We can go to Binance, falling really aggressively here. So most of the Binance money sold Ethereum around here and has been kind of trickling down since, but very clearly falling. Let's look at Kraken as another pretty big. This is kind of like a leverage product like market, falling. So you can see while on Wax, every kind of platform that we've looked at so far. Let's check. We started with KuCoin. Let's check Bitrex. Bitrex is, I don't think they're huge as far as their volume for wax, but also definitely not falling. You know, like we're looking again at a market that's moving from like 20, 25 cents. Even here we're at like 10, 12, all the way to 4 cents. And this is, you know, this one definitely made it's a lower low most recently when the lowest point of wax was happening on the prices there. Let's give us some more chart. But almost every other one of these exchanges is showing us that, you know, climbing, higher lows, higher highs, and generally uptrend. So again, my takeaway from all this is, I think in the coming week to 2 weeks for sure, the markets are going to turn red. I think continue a little bit of a sell-off. I think most of that is going to be informed by the fact that you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum have started to cap out pretty hard on the RSI here. I think we need a little bit of a pullback. Also, let's zoom all the way out to the macro picture on the SPY charts. And then here we can see also, you know, selling off, on balance volume dropping on the overbought side. That's the weekly. Let's get a little closer to the daily, kind of starting to flip here. The band's changing colors. We got our print, but we're also a little bit oversold. So short term, we could see that little pump back up for a few days before continuing down. And again, I don't think we're going to be making higher highs from here. I think what we're going to do is probably retest this middle line, like up to here, and then continue a downtrend in the coming week. So using all that information, let's approach our strategy for the week. So jumping back over to Taco Swap, this is where we have most of our liquidity. I'm also going to pull up a DeFi box, because DeFi box is where we keep our hedge. So our hedge right now, since last week, was still 50 wax that we had put into a US dollar wax pool. Currently, since the price of wax has been climbing this week, I'm going to, you know, poke in on this pool. I'm expecting it to probably be worth less than 50 wax at this point, as wax has probably been selling out of that pool into USDT. So let's take a look. Here we are on our wallet. Yep. So we're down a little bit on the wax. We're down to 40. We're like about 4 wax down, 46. Because we do expect the price of wax to possibly not fall with the market, even though we expect the market to fall a little bit. I think this is an acceptable hedge still. I don't think we need to scale this back up to the full 100 wax value. So for now, I'm going to leave this alone. I just wanted to poke in here and see that it's still there, and show that it has, you know, done what we expected to see, which is lose value in terms of wax, while obviously gaining value in terms of USDT, or not necessarily value. That was a wrong way to put it. Lost equity in terms of, or lost value in terms of wax, and equity gained in terms of USDT. So let's poke over to DeFi box. Nope, sorry, from DeFi box to Taco Swap. Paul's making faces at me and it's distracting me. And on Taco Swap, we've been farming some liquidity yield here. So the position we have on DeFi box is simply in the pool and exposed to, you know, dollars and wax. I'm not getting any incentives to do this, you know, aside from the 0.3% sourcing fee for trades that happen through this, but that's obviously not enough trading volume to be worth it. So this is just a hedge. While we go over to Taco Swap, here we are being paid to supply liquidity. So let's claim that pay. So from the last week, we've earned all of these different tokens. And you can see this is the depreciated honey token. So let's see. I wonder if it'll fail if I try to claim them all, since I'm pretty sure that contract is locked and it won't be able to send them to us. Well, I guess it did. Or it said it did. Let's see what happened. And then let's see. The positions we have this week, from like leftover from last week still are, we have Wombat token, we have honey and wax, and we have NFTV and wax. So let's poke into these pools and see if they are pools that we want to maintain into next week, if we want to scale into or out of them a little bit more, or what we want to move forward with. My first, the biggest position we have is the Wombat wax pool, and the Wombat token is about to be distributed through the Wombat app to the season reward through the season like rewards. So there might be especially on Wax, there might be a large distribution of new tokens entering circulation, and if people who finish their Wombat season get paid out with their Wombat tokens, immediately would like to cash that back out into Wax, that could put quite a bit of sell pressure onto our Wombat position in the coming weeks, I think, when the Wombat season ends. So that insight came from Yamster in the Discord, and I do think that that's definitely worth acting on. So basically, I think it's not a bad idea to scale down a little bit from our Wombat Wax position, despite it, still pays very good APR. And I like the Wombat token as far as the team behind it, I think, is building utility, is creating value for that token. And I think they understand tokenomics to a degree that isn't going to, just dump tokens into their liquidity pool and devalue the crap out of it all of a sudden. But that doesn't mean they aren't distributing new tokens, and there isn't going to potentially be more sell pressure in the coming weeks when the Wombat season ends. So I think we should start by scaling down a little bit from here. So let's do that by going to liquidity, and I think we can remove 50% for now. We can keep 50% exposed, but I'm going to say remove and then say 50%. That's going to get us 33 wax and 1,000 Wombat tokens back. So I'll sign that transaction to start. That keeps us still with half of our exposure to the Wombat pool in a wallet that started as 100 wax. That still represents 60% of our initial investment committed to this pool. So when we think about it in those terms, this is not a small position, and we've cut it down sizably by 50%. But I don't think exiting entirely is necessary either. The rewards are still good for a long time, and what we could see is also a drop as people exit quickly, and then potentially it comes right back with some other thing. Who knows what they announce or what they use Wombat token utility for. In the past, the Wombat app has not paid out Wombat tokens to its users, so it could be that as they introduce more ways to earn Wombat tokens, there may also become more ways to spend them. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that thanks to Yamster, there is going to be
right? Like if you get over 25,000 or whatever points in your mine runs every single day, anybody who does that is earning a share of Wombat tokens.
Yeah, so that's new to this season too. So this will be the first time these Wombat tokens are distributed to season participants, and so I just want to protect us a little bit. So we'll take 50% off the table. We've done pretty well in Wombat. The other thing we should probably do is turn all of our yields so far into wax. So I might actually keep the honey, because let's actually see what's honey worth right now. So we got the honey that we earned this week. Okay, that's not super worth our while to swap, but let's swap out of the Wombat counterpart that we've sold plus our Wombat rewards for now. So that gets us 37 more wax. And we'll hold on that for now. There you go. So now we're at 71 wax, just liquid in the wallet. The rest of it is still in the liquidity pool. So we have 66 right here, and then some honey, 12 wax worth of honey and wax, and also 4 wax NFTV in wax. So we do have now some wax, 70 something, to make a decision with. What do you think?
So do they pump the value of their token prior to the rewards so that they have to give less as a US dollar value of the token?
Yeah, exactly. That's also a pretty reasonable assumption. Although I think when you
they print it, that's too conspiratorial in my honest opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure when you earn Wombat in game, you earn it denominated in Wombat. So if they pump the token before they distribute it, it's not gonna affect the amount of Wombat they're distributing, as far as I understand.
Wouldn't it be less?
Yeah. I mean, if the price of Wombat in wax or in any currency, I think, is unrelated to the amount of Wombat being distributed, if I understood the distribution correctly.
I think this end of season distributions are tethered to fiat, not to the token. They gave out $25,000 worth of rewards in whatever tokens. So if Wombat was worth more in US dollars, they would give out less Wombat. So that is like the logic of that checks out. That doesn't mean they're doing it.
That's how those rewards that you can choose to be paid out in like Wax and or I mean like what is it like Matic or Bitcoin or EOS that are like a shared pool where you contribute your like season's earnings, like your Wombucks to that pool.
I believe that's what Hugo's talking about when he says he pumps them at the end when they get the rewards.
There's a separate like when you send your Wombat in Dungeon Master into the dungeon and you make a certain amount of
I'm aware, but that's not what Hugo's talking about.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe I'm wrong, but like from what I understood, he said, so do they pump the value of their token prior to the rewards? And the rewards are happening every day, so prior wouldn't make sense unless he's saying the end of season rewards. So that's the context clues I picked up from that statement.
And that's what I was saying, like the end of season rewards for Wombat token aren't denominated in dollars. You earned the amount of Wombat token throughout every run that every time you open a chest in Wombat Dungeon Master. If you got
a certain end of season, he's not talking about the chest rewards. So you're talking about a different thing.
Geez, that's where I'm getting. Okay, then yes, I am not on the same time. So then I'm not sure if that's that. I mean, that could be it's a good conspiracy, I suppose.
But also check this out. They pump the price of that you just change to get paid out on a different token. Like you don't like that would maybe make sense if they only paid rewards with Wombat token, but you could also get paid out in EOS or Wax. So like if you just choose those options and they pump that token, it's not helping them. So I don't like that doesn't make sense that they'd be doing that. Like that's not like a surefire way for them to pay less money to give stuff out. Like they could get burned doing that as easily as they could. Like they could pump the value of the token, no one takes it, and then people just dump the liquidity pools and they just lost a bunch of money. It's not saving them any money.
Yeah. It's also not cheap to pump the value of your own token because it's not like you can print your own token to make it more valuable. You have to use a counterpart asset to pump its value. So it would cost quite a bit of money to pump the value of a token that has a deep liquidity pool. And Wombat is getting relatively deep. Like if we check Wombat's pool, yeah, it's like 600,000 Wax. So 300,000 Wax still not that crazy deep, but it's deep enough that it would cost quite a bit to like meet the price of it.
The raid left house friends, the lefties. Can we call left houses fans lefties? Is that okay? Is that an appropriate? I feel like that's.
It feels a little weird, but I like it.
That's definitely like a political thing when you call someone lefty. So.
Oh, lefties, yeah. Okay. Let's see.
I feel like lefty's fun because left is also like left-handed, you know, like it doesn't have to be a political.
Yeah, that's what I thought initially, but then when you said the political thing, I was like, oh yeah. I just thought lefty, like oh, I'm lefty.
Leftist is like the new like people that are on the left don't want to be considered liberal because liberals in America are too conservative. So being a leftist is like the new version of being liberal, I guess, is what I associate it with. But that's also because there's some shows I know called that are political podcasts based on modern liberalism. Anyway, that was a total derail of we're talking about Honey token on Wax. We're talking about Wax investments. But this is not financial advice. Every week we do there's 100 Wax investment and Max moves the Wax around to try to get more than 100 Wax as sort of an experiment.
Yeah. So I really like I said earlier, my confidence in Honey has increased from this event. I'm thinking maybe we could take some of the 70 Wax and add it to our Honey. I don't think we should go extremely hard because I do think Honey is still, like I said, fair market value. I'm expecting around 1.4, 1.5. I think it's a little bit above that right now. But we have about 6 Wax on the Wax side. And it'd be nice to have like a rounder number. Maybe let's get it up to like a little more. So let's see if we do 6. If I want like, let's say if I want 20, that would be 14 Wax. Let's do 14 Wax and see if we can get up to like 40 Wax into that pool too. So it's still going to be less aggressive than what we're doing in Wombat, even after we've trimmed our position in the Wombat liquidity. But also, I want to see how much is one Honey selling for right now. 1.97. So we are a little bit above the target there, and that's also why we're not going to go quite as aggressive. I do like I said, I've been a fan of Honey for a while, and again, a big part of why you'd want to invest in specific tokens on Wax. It definitely matters who the team behind them is, and the team behind the Honey token has definitely showed its like kind of true colors in the wake of this kind of exploit by making everybody whole again within a matter of days, and resolving this by not just repaying the loss but also adjusting the the trajectory of the token moving forward and cutting the market supply like by like 90%. So still everything I liked about Honey is still true, and it's now 90% less of a total supply. So I don't know, I'm going with a little bit here. This is going to be a longer play. We also have, I think, the rewards pool for this, let me double check, is still running for like a month. 19 days. Okay, so easily we can reassess next week. So that's still great. So let's try that. Oh, it looks like in one day we end our taco rewards from NFTV, but for now I'm okay with that. So let's take our Honey and add it, the ones that we just picked up. Add liquidity, and that should put us at like about 40 Wax bilateral. And yeah, so 20 Wax on the Wax side, 10 Honey. This is about 40 Wax bilateral. Here we're about 66. So I think these positions are relatively well balanced for how my tolerance is currently for those assets. And then we are left with about 42 Wax. And since I did, like, I know I said I wasn't super interested in increasing the hedge, but I'm not seeing any other like Wax plays that I want to make at the moment. Actually, that's not true. Okay, with the rest of this, I like what Box Token is doing. Honestly, like looking at its charts lately, and the difference between what Box Token is selling for on EOS versus what it's selling for on Wax is high. I think currently on EOS I'm seeing Box Token price of, I think, $1.50 something, while on Wax it's at $1.30 something. Let me check again. Box Token $1.51 right now on EOS. So because the Wax price of Box Token has not caught up, and because possibly these markets are sinking a bit, I'm gonna put the rest of our the remaining 40 Wax into a position Box Wax, to capture the arbitrage opportunity that exists currently. So because this token trades for $1.50 on EOS and only $1.30 on Wax, and there is a way to buy them on Wax, deposit them into a centralized exchange that I don't have an account at, and then withdraw them on EOS to sell them again, there is a way to exploit this arbitrage opportunity. So I expect that price difference to eventually even out, and during that even out, it should benefit us in dollar terms of Box tokens increasing, basically making our Wax position go up. So if we open a position now and then the Box token goes to 150 like it should be based on its deeper volume trading over on EOS, then the Box tokens we buy now should sell into the Wax side, and we should see our Wax position increase. So let's try that theory out for the week by buying 20 Wax worth of Box token, and then supplying that to the liquidity pool. This is also paying, if I see the details here, it's also paying a APR rate, so we will get a mining reward for this, but it's about 12%. It's nothing to write home about. So now let's add 19.9. Okay, that's close enough for me. This is going to be around 40 Wax. And then the remaining couple Wax here, I am okay with letting those just chill as Wax, and we'll use those to top off positions in the future. Unless we want to use them possibly to get some more NFTV, we could actually increase that position if we want, since we're already in there. It's been going relatively well. It's not draining our value, and it's still paying like 200-300 or something APR. We could almost double that position with the remaining Wax we have. So yeah, let's do that too, just to kind of not be sitting on liquid Wax for a full week that's doing nothing at all. So we're going to do Wax, We have 3.5 left into, we want to do NFTV token. And then so let's do 50% of 3.5 is 1.75. So we'll do this swap. And now we can come back up to liquidity, add liquidity, and add our, it's going to be a little bit too much. That's not going to cover it. So we'll add like this. Oh, it's because I'd actually earned some NFTV from the liquidity yield and didn't account for that when I bought half of the position. That's what happened there. But there we go. Now we're at 4. So this is 8 wax bilaterally. This is 40. This is 66. So between these 3, we're looking at about 100. What is that? 8, 10. Yeah, like 111 wax that we've turned this into. And then here we still have about 100 now. So 86. So 86, yeah, we're looking at like 198, 99 wax that we've turned our 100 wax into, and we're still exposed to, now.
You can hear
wax.
whatever music called in the background.
Oh yeah, hold on a second. Hey Paul, can you turn it down just a little bit, maybe? Yeah. Thanks.
I'm trying to drown it out with our music, but Black Fang just said copyrighted music in the background. If you can hear copyrighted music, then that's an issue.
Here's copyrighted music. And then there's one more thing let's poke into because we did have in this wallet a position on NFT Hive just in staked honey. So I'm curious, how did that, do I need to do anything post exploit? So let's take a look at that as well. So sign into our wallet and then just click on the wallet tab here. We can see staked honey. It actually looks like I don't have to do anything. I still have the stake. It's still earning rewards. And you can see here's all the different tokens that have been used to purchase drops on NFT Hive since we staked the honey. And that's why we have a massive basket of different assets. Again, I don't think we need to mess with this. I like this kind of like, this is a fun little passive thing. It gives me like, a little position in a bunch of tokens across the wax space without me having to actually, go and buy them or understand which projects are active. The only way to get these tokens is if a project is active and doing drops in their currency. So this is kind of a nice little passive thing. I just wanted to pop in and see it's still there. This is about 2 wax. So that brings our wallet balance up to right around 200 wax from the 100 wax we started with. And it's been about 6.5 months. So we're doing relatively well, able to double our wax here in just under or just over, I think, half a year. If we can stay the course, maybe we can make it to 400 wax by the end of the full year. And then I think what we'll probably do is take 300 of that wax and use it to do some sort of community reward and then start the next year cycle with just another 100 wax to, start from scratch so that we're not, building year-long strategies that newcomers won't be able to jump into and follow.
Cheer.
I think that kind of wraps up what we want to do this week with our DeFi position. So to just recap really quick, we looked at the market and expecting kind of as the month closes now, we're expecting maybe a little bit of a bump before a continued sell-off in the coming days and definitely in the coming weeks. We also expecting, and that's for like the general crypto markets, we're also expecting to see wax maybe start to diverge a bit from the general market, maybe experience some pumps during the downtrends that the overall market is experiencing, and that is informed by seeing this on balance volume metric showing us money just pouring into the wax market across the centralized exchanges when we toggled between all the different exchanges. Then we jumped over to our 100 wax investment. We decided to keep our hedge in the USDT pool where it was. We added a box wax position with the remainder of the wax we had left after reducing our Wombat wax liquidity by 50% and selling the Wombat back into wax, and then taking a position in wax honey tokens liquidity pool, which is paying rewards for the next like 20 days. So we'll have to reassess on what the reward schedule for that looks like beyond then. But for now, moving a little bit of the liquidity out of the Wombat token pool because of the Wombat rewards coming up at the end of the Wombat season. where there's going to be new tokens entering circulation for the first time through a reward system like that. And then we also added a little bit more to our NFTV wax position. So that's kind of the overall recap of like what we did and why we did it, I guess, based on our market like analysis. And the market analysis means more or less, I think the markets might be coming down a bit, but I do still want a decent exposure to wax and wax based assets, which is why we've kept our hedge, which is paired against USDT, as low as it is. If we wanted just more wax and we thought for sure wax is dropping next week, we would pull all of our liquidity right into this pool. And then as wax drops in value, the USDT would buy more and more wax into next week. But since we're not convinced that that's exactly what's happening, and we still like the prospect of what we're seeing in wax, going into these tokens that we have faith in, which again we also talking about the honey hack had that face tested and then what is it called, confirmed. Like we've placed our faith in the right team by supporting a token like honey based on how that whole like fallout was dealt with. So yeah, that kind of covers what I wanted to go over as far as like the tech stuff today. I feel like if I keep getting deeper into it, it's going to start going in one ear and out the other. So I don't want to overwhelm people with with just like DeFi stuff. But yeah, it's kind of where the markets are looking to be. And I think that's what I want to do with our wax investment for the week. So yeah, if you want to follow any of those moves, it's not a bad idea to kind of like continue to manage your positions when you are liquidity mining and yield farming based on what is happening in the economy of the tokens that you're farming. And I'm mostly talking about the Wombat reward distribution when I'm saying that. So knowing that reward distribution is happening is going to help inform our decisions to maybe hedge ourselves, take a little bit of the Wombat off the table still, and wait and see how that influx of new Wombat tokens into circulation affects the market price before we maybe scale back into that position in a week or so. So yeah, that's kind of that. And let's see. Oh, the other thing that happened today in wax is the redeem. There's a Funko project that had its redeem coins drop. That means it's buying day for me, because usually on redeem day the NFT prices collapse. Because everybody who was in it just for the physicals is fucking
tracker for that.
Yeah, check it out. Let's see.
I think the Art Planet map start of a new one will affect the Aether price. It should maybe it should the same way Realm does, where when a new server starts, all the people that did all the pay to win shit have to repay to win. So at the end of each season, the Realm price pumps a little bit, also because people buy packs with it. But the other thing about Art Planet is eventually all of the Aether that was dropped, the thing people are spending Aether on are these starter kits. That Aether is not burned. That Aether is recirculated to RDAO holders. That has not been done yet. So whenever they pay all that Aether to people, they're probably just going to dump it, or at least a good portion will. So nobody knows when that payout's going to happen necessarily. So you're sort of playing with fire if you're speculating on it's if you buy it before that happens and sell it before that happens, you're good. But if you buy it and then they distribute all the Aether to the RDAO holders, then you'll probably go down. So, and knowing Art Planet, they're not transparent about when they do this stuff. It'll just happen when it happens. Good luck guessing that.
It's a guessing game for sure. I'm done speculating on Aether personally. I mean, I got burned. And I did well, and I got burned. So,
and I don't try to time the market because it doesn't work.
Tuna's saying that the redeem got delayed. The airdrop got delayed, at least. I don't know if that means the snapshot happened and the airdrop isn't happening yet, or if that means.
They said yesterday. I haven't read today, but they said yesterday the snapshot was happening, and then they're delaying the airdrop of the coins. It was 2 hours out or 3 hours after the snapshot. Normally it's immediately, but they were doing the snapshot at 11 a.m. and then the coins at 2 or 3, and it's
okay
3 now, so they should, unless they further delayed it, but they did delay it.
Willow's saying that they did drop the coin, so she's got the inside scoop.
But let's check this out.
So now that the coins are dropped, maybe we will see those prices coming down a bit. I am always interested in scooping. Like I do a royalty set usually either today or like tomorrow.
Yeah, the current set is $77, and this probably hasn't updated yet, but I'm almost positive it's going to go way down from $77.
So I'd be looking for it for like $10 to $15, probably less. Like hopefully $7. You know, like maybe still 90% lower than what it's currently trading at.
I also pulled up this article somebody posted in the Wax General chat, which I thought was interesting, which is a totally different topic. But
yeah,
basically people are like, if you look, there's a couple of people wash trading Bored Apes for like $116,000 a pop. And those are the people that are getting all the blur rewards on that new marketplace. So there's like a couple people that are whales in the Bored Ape community that are kind of just like trading the same apes back and forth, it looks like, and they're getting like a huge percentage of the marketplace kickbacks. It's like if you're on Nifty Blocks, you get the percentage of what you sold. And if you're selling something worth $100,000 3 times in a day, like that's a shit ton of money you're moving through. So they're getting a huge portion of the blur rewards, and the blur rewards are outpaying the cost of the marketplace fees because the marketplace fees are lower now. So in addition to lowering the royalties for creators, it's now creating the ability for people to do this trash. Like when you take away like the percentage that goes to the creators, now it's just like, okay, well now we can like 0.5%. I'm earning more than that in blur tokens, so that's I can easily just wash trade back and forth.
That's exactly what those market fees are fucking like great for. It's like, oh, when a creator gets like 5% of your every trade you make, you're going to do a lot less wash trading. Because 5% of every one of those trades is going to like not you. Yeah, I don't know. Reducing the cost of NFTs like that doesn't make sense to me. This
guy replied, and he's claiming he's not wash trading because they're auctions, which like I don't know if that logic makes sense.
What?
He's like, it's wrapped ether, which means it's bid, and because it's a bid, somebody could outbid me, and it's not wash trading. But I'm like, I don't think
wash trading. If you buy it yourself, if you buy your own asset, that's wash trading. If you list it and buy it yourself, you're wash.
It's not himself. It's like they're friends. Like these are two different people, but they're just trading. The two people are trading them back and forth between each other.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if this is illegal. Definitely, like at the very least,
they're gonna tank the fucking price of blur tokens. What they're gonna do?
Yeah,
but that's blur token's fault. Like, don't fucking give away your token for wash trading. Like, that's I don't know.
Yeah, Nifty Blocks bans people, and like when Nifty and NFT Hive see people exploiting the system, they ban them from using their platform. They don't encourage it. But Franklin here says, no big deal. Anyone who's incentivized to earn rewards would do this. It's just the voices of people who aren't doing this and complaining are louder than the people grinding for the reward, which for the first airdrop greatly benefited those who wanted the rewards. And then the guy who posted this says, nah, bro, we know you're wash trading for blur rewards. You don't have to explain it. And then this is where he said, I have to explain to combat the misinformation. Bidding and accepting bids, the wrapped ether sales isn't wash trading. We aren't listing and buying the exact same apes from each other. Blur doesn't let us intentionally choose which bid to sell which ape to. But he said, and then he says, but you are listing and buying the exact same apes from each other. I found over 10, but only posted 4. Look through the thread. You boys swap them back and forth like how you swap gum back and forth. And then he says, the wrapped ETH sales are sales that are bids. Where are the ETH sales between our wallets? And these are blur bids that are accepted. So we aren't bidding on any. That's the like part that's confusing me. I don't really understand how blur works. But like Franklin's saying they're not, but then like I don't know. There's literally like transactions.
He's saying they're not wash trading because the orders that they're making are public. That doesn't fucking change the fact that they're the ones buying and selling them to each other. That's wash trading. Doesn't matter if it's an public order or if you're buying it for fucking peanuts instead of pennies. Like that's wash trading.
You can call it whatever you want, but there's transactional blockchain data showing, the same ape going from Rambler's word to Machina's big brother and then back. So it's like, I don't know, man. You could say this is all like you're doing it, not break. It's like clearly you're able to do this. Like we're not saying it's impossible to do this. It's like the question is this illegal? And I don't know. It's funny. Franklin tagged the FBI, the SEC, and like a couple other like legal organizations in this thread. He's like, that's how confident I am. I'm not breaking any laws. It's just like, I don't know enough about the situation or how this works, but it does seem like at the very least, like the system is very broken if it's just the wash traders getting all the rewards. Like, I don't know. And it's like, if this is the reason why we're taking away like royalties from artists is so wash traders can fucking print some like shitcoin. It's like, I don't know. I don't think this is the direction that NFT should be moving. It's already considered an insider tech club. Like, it's just having some people at the fucking top printing money into their wallets for wash trading is like, that's not good for the NFT space. So if you think, whatever this last week, it's like, is this a good road to be going down? And it's like, yeah, it sort of looks like this is not the intended outcome you want.
This is definitely the symptom of like, you know, opening the floodgates to like that type of activity. Like part of having the market fees and the collection fees definitely puts a stop to this kind of like nonsense. But then again, you could just do this shit with like fungible tokens. So it's not like it doesn't happen with like regular coins. It's just that's why a decentralized exchange doesn't incentivize the highest volume people. It's just how much are you putting up into a liquidity pool, because that is a lot less gameable.
It is interesting though, like that I can go read this thread and then see the guy wash trading go like defend himself publicly on Twitter. Like, I don't know. This is a crazy space. Like you see somebody wash trading millions of dollars worth of assets, and then you can just go talk to that guy. You can be like, hey man, why are you doing this? And then he'll reply to you. Like, does that happen on Wall Street? Can I go like just like tag people public? And I don't know. Like, this is a crazy day and age we live in. The fact that like I can see this guy like defend his own shady actions is just wild to me that this even exists. It's like what a weird universe we walked into in the NFT space where like people are not only doing shady shit but admitting to it publicly on Twitter, like, and defending themselves, like,
and tagging the FBI to be like, look into me.
Yeah. Just like,
yeah. I think
I don't know.
Blackpink is right. It's the same logic as just Ponzi schemers and shit on Wax too. You've seen it left and right, like people buying up there in Florida just boost the value of stuff. It's like, how is that different? You know,
I just think it's funny that like people think because they got lucky and bought a Bored Ape that they're like suddenly financial geniuses and like understand how all this stuff works, which is like, I don't know. Maybe Franklin is a genius and I'm a fucking idiot and he's not breaking the law, but like I wouldn't be bragging about doing what he's doing on the internet right now. Like if I were doing what he was doing, I wouldn't just be like publicly admitting to it on Twitter. I would not reply to that guy who's like, you're doing that shit. But again, I don't know the law well enough to be like, he's for sure breaking the law, but that seems sketchy to me.
I think that's what happens when you try to like tag a Wall Street guy into like, hey, how come you're doing these wash trades? They just won't respond because they know better. Like they know they're breaking the law. I guess these people may just don't know they're breaking the law.
I mean, he seems like, based on his replies, like very clearly he doesn't think he's breaking any laws, but I don't know.
I guess it also depends on like where is he. If he's in the United States, that's illegal. You can't wash trade. But if he's in like some
I also don't know if he's doxxed. Like everybody knows Franklin as a Bored Ape holder, but we don't know if his name's actually Franklin. That's just his screen name.
Yeah, that's true.
This guy is a very famous Bored Ape holder, though. Like this guy's, he's shown up on my Twitter a bunch, like for different shit. Market maker of 1 billion market cap PFP collection. I have 70 apes now. He's like one of the biggest holders. Yeah, I feel like some people got into the shit early and are just so fucking rich now, but they like assume they're financial geniuses because they got lucky, and then they're doing bullshit like this, and then like expecting, I don't know. We'll see how this pans out, but this is just a bizarre situation that I thought would be fun to look at stream. It also makes sense, like, of course that's going to happen if you're giving people rewards for trading on Ether marketplaces. Like if the rewards are worth more than the marketplace fees, watch
this sounds like something M Blue would say about it. KY, it's like, it's a game. It's not it's a game. He's just playing the game.
All of the games, like, we can do whatever we want now. Like,
yeah. Oh, it's a game. It's not a marketplace. It's a game.
You said invest at your own risk, so we're allowed to false advertise. That's like what people think in this. Like the logic some of the creators have in the space, they're like, it's like we signed a waiver saying we can do anything we want to, so it's okay to murder you. Is like what people are saying. It's like that's not how the laws work. Like you can't just do whatever you want because you say you can.
Yeah, it's like you can't actually give someone permission to murder you. That's not a thing. It's like you can't just be like, oh, like the game is wash trading, so because it's a game, like it's no longer wash trading.
I also don't really know, like. His argument that they're not bidding on specific ones is kind of compelling because it sounds like on Blur, you might not be able to choose like on Blur, if you bid on Bored Apes, you're just bidding on the cheapest Bored Ape for whatever you type. So like it's not guaranteed. But I think they're smart enough to know that like the numbers they're pumping in, like people don't just have $110,000 to throw at a Bored Ape without knowing what it is. So it's really only 2 or 3 participating. But like I don't know, I think it is a more like like it's different than them literally just like bidding and accepting the bids back and forth, because that would be watched like
That would be
out-
very, very illegal.
And I
Okay,
think
so maybe they did find a loophole. Who knows? Like, I mean,
I do think they found a loophole, but
Yeah,
I
they're
also
not-
don't know if there's legally like again, I still wouldn't be bragging about it. Like like
yeah,
I don't know.
Trump Nugs. It's like, yeah, man, it's just a game. It's like if I ever get like arrested and like in court about fraud, it's just like, look, man, if you don't like the game, you don't have to play. It's just a game. I was playing a game.
I
Like,
feel like
yeah,
there's
I don't know.
H3 soundbite
I
of
think it's not an investment. I don't know. You know what? I don't think so either. But I would say that the jury is still out on that shit. Like, there's active court cases that are determining what is and isn't a security or an investment in this NFT space at the moment. And until they actually, you know, go to trial and decide, there really isn't a precedent for this shit.
No, I don't have. I'm pretty sure there's an Andrew take like that's the game. I want to get that one.
Yeah, that's the game. I remember. I think Blue Deck was a game, and the game was to supply liquidity to a liquidity pool.
There's also a new announcement for ZOS if anybody's playing. They did a vote for what the survivors should do next for the Alien Worlds thing. And they voted they would set up camp and carry on after getting rest. And that means tomorrow, after the first mission ends, the second mission will begin, which I believe is a new Alien Worlds mission. And there will be no gear or less gear loot, no equipment, more silver, 4-day duration, and then 64,000 TLM rewarded to whoever takes the most damage. So whoever does the most missions, I guess.
Oh wow, that's quite a bit.
They also said that's not all. This decision has wider impacts to the rest of supply around game mode. The survivor's decision to remain in the forest and not go back for supplies means that during the duration of the event, food will be removed from all single-player loot tables. So you will no longer be able to get food in ZOS for the remainder of this next mission.
Oh, that's actually, do you need that? There's I have so much fucking food, and it's like
I also think from like the
role.
role-playing aspect, I enjoy this. It's like
Yeah,
it's like oh, like we're all out of food, so like we're on hard times.
you better get some food, Tune. Just ran.
You have 1 day to get food. So if you send your guys out today, you can still get food. But after
You
today,
should probably do
all
the
your guys
like
on 1 day
quarter
food
runs. Yeah, get some fucking. Get you some food. I have a ton of food. I can send you some food if you need food, Tune.
But I don't know. I do like that they're kind of like switching up. Like, I don't mind like kind of a radical change in gameplay temporarily, because the food will come back.
Yeah.
It'll go back to the old system. Like this is just temporarily for the event, but it's like
I like that
Sons of the Forest lately. And Sons of the Forest, it becomes winter, and winter changes how you have to play the game. When winter comes, your lake freezes over. That's where you drink water, so you can no longer get fresh water. The berries stop growing on bushes, so then you have to get a different food source. But like, I don't know. I like when a game changes, like and pivots. It's like, okay, now you have to change your strategy that you've been doing, and then it'll change back to the old strategy later. But like, it gives you like a little refresher. So I appreciate that personally.
Yeah. Ooh, I didn't really touch on it, but Taco released a new white paper too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. That's the only thing we haven't talked about.
Yeah, it was. I mean, here I can share my screen really quick.
I haven't
and
looked
show
at it, so I don't really have an opinion on
I
it.
looked at it. It's basically similar to their old white paper. So here's like their a new white paper here. If you want to find it, you can literally just go to Taco Swap and they're advertising it. So it's right
Damn,
here.
horror Funkos are selling for 1 cent now.
Let's go. I should go do some auto buys.
Let's see what like the Grail is selling for. That's really the not real. Sorry, Grail.
The main thing that
$8. That's definitely way down, and it's 66 cents for the legendaries. Damn, I might scoop some of these. These are way cheap.
Oh yeah, the horse. This is definitely something I'm going for today.
I might do that after our stream. I'm gonna put you up. If you want to put your screen up. Also, to everybody viewing, we will be shipping out the stickers today. We have stamps. We have all of the envelopes are all letter, like everybody's names and everything's ready to go. I just need to put the stamps on and then mail them.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm waiting for you to switch to.
Okay.
There, you're good.
The main thing I wanted to look, it's basically the same, but this gives you like a nice little like way to look at everything. And then the one thing I like to see is the tokens. think there was like a tokenomics section here, and so they have all their different tokens, and they have this nice like graphic that kind of explains the like tokenomic overview. I don't participate in a lot of these, so I can't like get too into detail, but the main thing I was looking for was like the max supply, and they're still at like 100,000 million billion 10 trillion, which is insanely high in my opinion. So that hasn't changed. But yeah, if you wanted to look through this, they all have like, I think this one's 100 trillion for Shing. Oni's also 100 trillion. I think they all have quite a high supply. Even Taco G. And then it tells you, so it'll tell you all the tokens in the ecosystem, and it's a really quick place to like how to obtain. And you can like, you know, if you want Taco G, it's like here you can get it by owning this NFT or a level 40 plus venue, but it also says that the venue level is a moving target. So, you know, interesting info here. So if you're into Taco, definitely give it a look. But yeah, I'm not like super deep into it, so I know what I see there is pretty much, you know, it's fun to see it. But my big takeaway is always the max supply of tokens, and that's a very, very high max supply versus how many are actually in circulation currently. So it's just a really strange picture that it paints for me, at least, where it's like, how is it that a 100 trillion supply then like 0.00 something percent of this token's max supply is currently in circulation. It's a little strange without like a further explanation, and it really didn't go much deeper than that for me. But yeah, I just wanted to show that that's available to look at. Oh yeah, Paul's making Wagyu beef burgers today, smash burgers.
Smell that shit. Smells good.
It's super good. He just brought one out after I eat this now, so it's fucking cold. Check it out.
Burger. I think that's pretty much all we had to go over on stream today, though.
Ooh, it's still very hot. Yeah, I think so. It was a big week. I think there's going to be other big shit coming too, but I'm going to be watching that Funko market for sure. Try to get some horrors on the cheap. Maybe play some auto buys.
Tune says the ZOS food is already 5x'd. Damn. Which, to be fair, is really, really cheap before. So 5xing is still probably pretty cheap.
Yeah. I'll send you. I got some food you can have. Like I said, I've assloads of food. It depends on how much you need, I guess.
I'm definitely down. Like if you're playing, I'm not really playing ZOS right now. So if you want, like, I will trade you food if you just want to pay me back when the food missions come back and you can run food missions again. I'm fine, like, giving you my food temporarily if you want to pay me food back. So, you know, that offer is available to anybody in Neon Space. I trust y'all to pay me food back if you want to borrow my food while you cannot get food.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple crates now, and you give me a couple crates later.
Sweet. Yeah, we're gonna do the mailing of our stickers today, and we haven't said it on stream, but for future weeks, I'm gonna try to process all the shipping orders on Monday. So I don't know what it says on Shopify, how long we'll process the orders, but like if you order a sticker on Tuesday, do not expect it to ship until the following Monday. So just FYI. For future weeks, this week we'll be mailing on Tuesday just because we didn't know we had stamps yesterday. But for future weeks, on each Monday, I will try to process all the orders. And yeah, there's a bit of a delay, so thanks for waiting. It took us like a week to get our PO box and all the stamps and stuff we needed to send stuff. But for all future drops, we should be good to go. Like now we'll have a surplus of like 60 stamps, so we can do multiple drops with the stamps we have now. And yeah, I think that's all we have to say on the sticker.
The kick-ass burger.
Oh yeah, Max is making the second artwork for our second sticker. Well, the artwork's already made. He's prepping it so it can be turned into a sticker. Let me show. It'll be Neon Spice, though. I'm sure you all know what it looks like. But I'll pull up the naked just so you can check it out. We're going to be playing Big Time this Friday as far as streaming stuff coming up. Max should have access to Big Time now. I'm also a Big Time ambassador, and I can give away 5 Big Time accounts. So if anybody would like to play with us, let me know. The one thing is, I can only get more giveaways if you get to level 10. I'm gonna mute you, Max, also because I'm hearing echoes. You're muted. if you get to level 10, I get more giveaways, or if you buy something, I'm not going to ask anybody to buy stuff. But if you want a free big time account, like the free Ruby Pass, like if you can commit to playing to level 10, which is maybe like an hour of playing, I would appreciate it, because then that allows me to give more people passes. I'm also happy to run you through missions. So like I can take you through a level 20 dungeon and you will get to level 10 much faster. So like anybody that I onboard, I'm happy to like basically like you can just follow me and I'll level you up to level 10. But that I'm excited about. Big time's like an MMORPG. It's like Guild Wars or World of Warcraft-esque. And it's a blockchain game where all the NFTs are cosmetics. So even it's not pay to win. You can't buy like the best weapon in the game, but you can buy like a one-of-one rare cosmetic and then attach that to your in-game weapon. So I really like the NFT economy. It's definitely a play to own more than a play to earn. There's no tokens that you're dumping and you can only earn cosmetics, but like, yeah, it's a fun game. Here's the next artwork we're gonna be making to a sticker. So it'll be like the current sticker we have is a circle because it's our logo, but the next one we'll have will be like a rectangle, and it'll be like basically what you're seeing here. I'm not exactly sure we'll cut it off. We might cut it off like right at the yellow, so there is no black overlap, but that's what Max is working on today, is like how do we turn it into digital artwork into a sticker. And also it's like flickering, so you have to decide like at what brightness are we going to render for the sticker. So this will be our next one. We are also trying to do wax DAO, so y'all can vote for which artwork we do next. But Mike had an issue with the DAO portion of wax DAO, and he needs to update it before we can do that. And we're trying to, like, it takes like 3 weeks to get a sticker, so we will not have another sticker drop until 3 weeks after we finish this artwork. So we don't want to have to wait like over a month to get another sticker out. So we are going to do wax DAO voting for the third sticker, but the second sticker will be a version of this Neon Spice sticker. And if we can order them today, like maybe not, 3 Fridays from now, we'll be able to have another drop. So tentatively, we could say like the 17th or the 24th would probably be our next sticker drop, and it'll be Neon Spice. But yeah, we appreciate everybody who bought from the first sticker drop. And it took me longer to fulfill the orders than I thought it would. So I just wanted to give everybody an update and let you know that we are working on that. Last night I filled out all the envelopes, like everybody's address and everything's all filled out. We didn't have stamps, but now we have stamps. So I am ready to stamp and mail everything. So we'll do that today. And yeah, what else am I trying to advertise? Thursday, I think we might have a Jungle Bryon, who's from the NFT Nerds Unite community. I think he has a drop available right now that he might be promoting. And then on Friday, we'll be playing, I'll play a little bit of Blankos and we'll play Big Time. So if anyone wants to try to play either Blankos or Big Time with me, let me know. Big Time's also free to play if you have the Ruby Pass. The Ruby Pass costs money, but I have access to give people Ruby Passes for free as an ambassador. But as I was saying earlier, I can only continue to give people Ruby Passes if the people I give the passes to actually play the game. So I'm fine giving some people some passes if you're actually going to play. Just let me know. But I think that'll, we'll call that a stream. Let me raid into someone. And thanks for watching, everybody. I have to confirm with Jungle Bry, too. I'm not positive that he will be here on Thursday. But last week, I invited the Kabata who's going to come on, but we forgot Richard Garfield was streaming with the Tyranno people. So I was like, oh, sorry, like we're going to raid into them instead of doing the interview. But hopefully this next week, that'll work. We will raid into Taco or into NFT Gamer TV doing Taco Tuesday. Maybe they'll talk about their new white paper there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit us up in Discord if you want to chat in between now and the next stream, but otherwise we will see you all on Thursday. Let me make sure I spelled NFT Gamer TV right. Oh man, I'm creating the craziest mirror thing right here. All right, later, everybody. Also, the Ultraman drop is tomorrow, so if you're interested in Ultraman, don't miss out. I'll probably be talking about it in Discord and tracking it, but we are not streaming tomorrow, so catch you all on Thursday. Peace.